Thanks for joining us. My name is Ibrahim Sani. The issue of trying to take care of our health is actually quite important. This is a continuation of a subsegment on Astro AWANI where we look at health issues and health matters. Joining me here in Berjaya Times Square Hotel is Woon Pak Seong, the advisor for the Optometrists Association of Malaysia, or AMO. Maybe we can talk a little bit more about AMO per se. What is it all about? And of course, the distinction between an optometrist versus other healthcare professionals when it comes to eye care.
Okay, so maybe I'll take the second question first, then going on to the first question. So, firstly, it's who are optometrists? So, firstly, it's everyone knows who's an eye specialist. That's clear. They're in the hospitals, eye clinics, and they do surgery. They prescribe eye drops. Some of them do lasers, eye diseases, right? And everyone knows who's an optician. So opticians are in optical centers, they do glasses, contact lenses, and sunglasses. So who is an optometrist then? We are not eye specialists, and we are also not opticians. So number one, we also do glasses, contact lenses, and sunglasses as well. But we study 4 years in the university to cover everything about eyes. So two things that we do very differently is, number one, we are able to check from babies all the way up for eyes. And second thing that makes us special is that we actually screen for eye diseases. So we screen the whole work of eye diseases like cataract, glaucoma, age-related macular degeneration, and so on. So then what is the role of optometrists then? So that becomes important. So we know that people will not go to an eye specialist unless there is redness, pain, sudden loss of vision. But by coming to an optometrist and going through a regular yearly checkup, in addition of correcting their vision and so on, we also screen for eye diseases, which means that we can actually catch eye diseases early and therefore refer to the eye specialist for early intervention, which makes it so much easier. So we're talking about a group of people who would not go to an eye specialist because they don't feel that they have any problem.
Ophthalmologist, is
Correct.
that it?
Correct.
Ophthalmologist?
Correct.
So how does the interrelation work between an ophthalmologist and an optometrist? Is it hand in hand, hand in glove maybe?
Oh yeah, we are hand in hand, hand in glove. In fact, what we can do and what they can do, in fact, we work hand in hand. We actually reduce the burden of the ophthalmologist.
Yeah, okay.
We are actually channeling people who would not go to an ophthalmologist to go to them earlier to get early intervention.
Yeah, the word you were using just now was screening.
Yes.
So you allow that lesson of burden.
Correct.
Not just for ophthalmologists as per se, but the hospital system itself.
Correct.
What's the take-up rate, so to speak, when it comes to eye screening between regular Malaysians with an ophthalmologist?
With an ophthalmologist,
Yeah.
they will not go unless there is an eye disease.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think my dad goes to the government eye specialist.
Yeah.
And can you imagine the queue? We have to be there at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
And the eye specialists are doing.
And then an optometrist, what's the prevalence in terms of Malaysian population?
Going to an optometrist?
Yeah.
Yes, we have 2,700 optometrists in the country. And of course, there are 5,000.
Is this like in one of those typical stuff, like the eye specs shop that we see in the shopping mall?
So unfortunately, some of the eye spec shops do not offer these services. Actually, majority of them don't offer these services.
Wow, really?
So we're trying to
I just did my specs, so who did I do it with, if not with an optometrist?
Yeah, no. So they are opticians as well.
Okay.
So if
we haven't discussed the distinction between
yeah.
what was it?
Optician and
Optician,
optometrist.
Okay. So what is the difference between an optician and an optometrist?
So opticians basically deals with optics. Okay, that means they will correct.
I thought that was called PR.
Yeah. So they correct your vision.
Yeah.
But if you have gone to an optical center,
yeah,
you did your glasses, but if you did not get your eye health tested as well, then chances are highly likely that it could be done by an optician.
Okay.
Yeah, but we're not saying that opticians are bad, as don't get me wrong.
Yeah, no.
But some people just
you can
do
be
not
an
have it wrong.
optometrist and can still be bad. So
In that sense. So, but for a certain group of people, going to an optometrist makes sense. We catch things early, and therefore we prevent blindness and so on.
Okay, let's talk about the Association of Malaysian Optometrists, then AMO.
Good.
What's that all about, and how do you interlace your function with that of the optometrists in the country?
Okay, so the Association of Malaysian Optometrists is the biggest association. In fact, it's the first association that represents all the optometrists in Malaysia.
Okay.
They
I'll
are.
be frank with you, I've never heard of Association of Malaysian Optometrists.
Okay, so
Pardon me.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
So there are 3,000 optometrists in the country.
Yeah.
So the optometrists are in different areas. For example, they are in private practice, like regular like optometry centers. They are also in hospitals. They are in academia and research and so on. So Association of Malaysian Optometrists, we currently have about close to half, about 1,500 members, and we represent all the optometrists. So what do we do with the association? What's the function? Of course, number one, we always obviously take care of the members. But more importantly, every year since 2016, we've been on a campaign to promote eye health. So around November of every year, which is World Sight Day, which coincides with World Sight Day, October, November, we will do a national eye health campaign every year, and we will do different campaigns every year. So for example, like perhaps a year we will focus on vision for children, you know, talking about importance of vision for education and so on. Another year we were talking about vision for sports, you know, how vision, you know, affects sports. Another year we were talking about vision at the workplace, maybe about, you know, eye injuries, you know, how to protect the eyes, especially in factories and so on. So we're trying to impact and getting, you know, the members of the public to go yearly to do for a comprehensive eye check with an optometrist.
The thing about this is, okay, so last year, November last year, what was the theme then?
November last year was because it was pretty much near pandemic, so we're talking about esports.
Okay.
So talking about digitalization, you know, digital, when you play esports and so on, how's vision affected?
I have a whole conversation that I need to go through with you, maybe not even on air, but just on a private note, because my 9-year-old has just been diagnosed with a requirement of wearing spectacles. She's now on prescribed spectacles. She joins the rest of the family. My 11-year-old boy picked up specs when pandemic started. He was 9 years old, he was then diagnosed then, and of course he's using the specs. Eldest, 16-year-old, same thing. And of course the dad, mom as well. So that is the issue moving forward. I can't help but feel sad for my 9-year-old. Yeah, it's pretty high. It's like 200 plus.
Wow, that's high. That's really high for 900.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, for 9-year-old.
So she's complaining. You know, the teacher was saying that she can't focus in class. She can't. Sorry, I'm moving to this topic now. Let's talk about she's complaining about you know the playful in class, not focusing. Inattentive, frustrated, you know, that kind of stuff. And we have diagnosed her with ADHD before, and you know, we got that sorted out. Turns out that because I was already suspicious that she can't see well, you know, I was like, she was across the room and I was doing something, and she said, how many glasses do you want? Something like that. I don't remember that. And I did this, and she's like, you know, I'm like, done. We're bringing you to the thing tomorrow. Okay, and we brought her to the thing, and then of course all of us got updated powers. I'm very pleased that my boy from 150 went to 175 after 2 years, so that's not that bad. Astigmatism also quite okay. Everything okay lah, except for my girl lah. But this is the whole idea of trying to get your eye health screen. Maybe the question I want to ask you is, how young do you think we should get our eyes screened? Maybe not yearly, but some form of periodic time.
Excellent. Excellent question. So in fact, the first time that one should get screened is when one is born. Really, a baby.
Okay.
So because what can happen is, this can be done by the ophthalmologist or it can be done by the optometrist, principally because we want to rule out lazy eyes. So lazy eyes can be caused by either cataract. Unfortunately, some babies are born with cataract, or they have high long-sightedness or astigmatism.
Okay.
So first screen, second screen at year 3, third screen at year 5, and then just before they start school. And for kids, we recommend a screening of every 6 months because they're growing. So if they grow, their short-sightedness can grow up really fast in a short span of time. But for adults, once a year.
All right. Now, then that is the big topic of private screening, private healthcare screening versus public healthcare screening. On our budget show, we went at length about cost of living, rising inflation, rising prices caused by inflation, many more. Yes, we need to be healthy, but screening costs money if you go to a private establishment. If you go to a public establishment, I don't know whether there's optometrists in the public establishment.
There are currently about 300 of them.
So where? At the hospital?
At the hospitals
like the big grade A hospitals like HKL and many more.
HKL, Selayang, Shah Alam.
And they are optometrists, they're not optal.
They
They're
are
not
optometrists.
Okay.
They have both optometrists and ophthalmologists.
Okay.
So optometrists also sit in the health ministry.
So how does that work? Do they ask for referral letters from clinics? Then they go to the hospital?
Yes.
Like normal outpatient?
The other possibility is the 6 schools. I mean, but there's only six universities that produces optometrists. So members of the public can go. I mean, they welcome people to go for screening as well.
Like you're an alumni of UKM?
UKM, yes.
So UKM provides this?
Yeah.
Is it the HUKM at Bangi or UKM per se at Bangi?
UKM at Jalan Raja Muda.
Oh yeah. So that basically, if one were to resourcefully find, they can have access to private.
So you have IIUM, UITM, UCSI,
IIUM, my own university.
MSU, yes. But
really?
IIUM in Kuantan.
In Kuantan, yeah.
I just came from there.
Okay, this is interesting. Which is good, right? I mean, if I'm KL, I go to Bangi. If I'm if I'm in Kuantan, I go to UAE lah.
And the lecturers and students will love it because they get to practice, you know.
Of course. I did my wisdom tooth at PPUM.
Yeah.
Because not only is it cheap, because I wasn't, financially endowed by during that time, but yeah, it was also good because it has the full breadth of the dental faculty there.
But even if it's done by the private optometrist, it's not very expensive.
Okay, let's talk about that, because that literally, you took the question out of my mouth. How much does it cost?
So depending on each optometrist, some of them charge 100 ringgit, and some of them say, hey, it is just 100 ringgit for the first time, and thereafter it's free. So it depends on each optometrist. Okay. So there is a rate, 30 ringgit for some and so on.
Okay, all right, we'll go for one short break. When we come back, we'll discuss a bit more with Woon Pak Seong of the Association of Malaysian Optometrists. Thanks for staying on with us. I have with me Woon Pak Seong of the Association of Malaysian Optometrists. Let's talk about myopia and all the other conditions that arise from it. Yeah. What is the situation right now when it comes to healthcare and health screening in Malaysia?
Okay, so we're talking about myopia first. Myopia is classified as a pandemic now.
Oh wow! Wow.
Yeah. Why? Yeah.
Epidemic, you mean?
Yeah, it's like an epidemic. Yeah.
Okay. Like epidemic.
Like epidemic.
Right. Why?
Okay, because by the year 2030, it's estimated that half of the world's population will be myopic, and 1 billion. 1 billion. The projection is 1 billion will have high myopia, meaning that above 500 in prescription. So myopia is advancing at an alarming rate, So just now we were talking about your child, having myopia at 9 years old at 200.
Yeah.
Why is this happening? So number one is genetics. When both parents are myopic, then chances are
still,
but still, it's moving.
Her mom didn't have to use specs until prescription lenses until 24. Yeah. I remember clearly because I was dating her. She wasn't using lenses.
Okay. Right.
Until 24.
Maybe she was looking a lot more at you. That's why she's turning myopic. But it's moving too fast for just to have the genetic element alone. So the other factors would be lifestyle. I think you notice that people are indoors, not outdoors anymore. Yeah. So the studies to show that when the sun hits the skin,
drag my kids screaming and clawing out of the house.
So when the sun hits the skin, actually it retards myopia. Okay. So we're trying to get people to go out.
How? Yeah. How is the? Sorry, I'm sure I understand that. So just being outdoors is
just being outdoors. You don't even have to be active. Just being outdoors, and that's is a global is a recommendation by the world authorities.
But my kids are shielded from the nasties of the sun. They don't come out. They're vampires.
Okay. Yeah. So we need to get kids out.
Well, you can come to my house and drag them out. I tried mine. But
so in fact, I have one eye doctor. You know what he did? That was the house. Yeah. He actually removed the roofs and put in a polycarbonate screen so that the light comes in and his kids is inside, but the sunlight comes in.
No, but I mean, exaggerations aside, the situation, at least with young children, at least kids my age, right? 9 years old, 11, 16. their lifestyle necessitates them to be indoors a lot more than outdoors.
Yeah, correct.
The school is trying to structure education to a point where they have to spend about 1 to 2 hours a day, Monday to Fridays, outdoors. I get that bit, I understand that. But when they get home, you know, they're slammed, they're tired and everything. And we're down to just weekends to being outdoors. And I spend a lot of activities outdoors, literally. Even if we play badminton, it's just for a short bit because I'd rather play something outside, you know, whatever, football, whatever. Because badminton is still indoors. And that is, what I'm trying to say is, it takes a lot of effort for a parent to push forward and try to get their kids outdoors. So, and if I'm going through this, I'm sure millions of parents around the world are also going through the same thing. And of course, education has been delivered through screens now. My kid has at least 2 screens live. It's not just one, you know, they have a phone, they have a laptop, they have an iPad, they have whatever. Even one would argue an Apple Watch is a screen as well. So they plaster that in front of their face, and it's not that easy trying to get them away from it, because that's where information is flowed into their brains now. So how do you mitigate this risk factor of, you know, increasing myopia being a pandemic? But, you know, it is what it is. How do you change that?
Correct. So what we're trying to do is, number one, changing the lifestyle a bit. So firstly is to get out to the sun. Second thing is the proximity of all your reading materials, regardless whether it's digital or not. So we're trying to make them to see as far away as possible. Thirdly, to have the 20-20-20 rule, which means that after 20 minutes, you can set an alarm or something like that, then you look for at least 20 seconds at 20 feet away. And it is international rule. Just to relax the eyes. So these are the few things that we can do lifestyle-wise, you know. But they are, what do you call it, interventions available. There are actually 4 interventions available. One is called Myopin, and this is prescribed by the ophthalmologist, which basically is an eye drop that you put 1 drop a day to retard myopia. The other 3 would be, number 1, glasses. They are actually special glasses now, which wasn't available during our time. So, but it's available now, and these special glasses actually retard myopia as well. Then the other 2 would be contact lenses. One is a daily disposable contact lenses made for kids to slow down short-sightedness. And finally, there's something called ortho-K. So orthokeratology is a special contact lenses that one wears to sleep. Now, everyone says, don't wear contact lenses to sleep. But this is a special FDA-approved contact lenses to sleep. It reshapes the front part of the eye and creates a new surface that slows down short-sightedness. So there are things available to slow down short-sightedness now, which was not available before.
So if one would try to consult an optometrist, the optometrist will be able to provide these kind of choices or options for the individual. And moving forward, how is the AMO going to structure itself to get Malaysians a little bit more cognizant and aware of better healthcare, eye care?
So I think number 1 is through our own practices, and that means each optometrist, you've got to win wherever, like, we're going to go to multi-channel. So number 1 is
TikTok.
TikTok.
Strange, huh? Get on the screen to better your health. Right?
So 1 is through each of our patients, each of our customers, we educated 1 by 1. That's 1. Number 2, we need people like you, you know, Astro, the media, and so on, to propagate this message. 3, we need to engage the government, you know, to agree that to promote these messages as well. I think we have to do something. Otherwise, you know, this will just snowball.
One more short break. When we come back, we'll discuss a bit more with Woon Pak Seong, of AMO. Thanks for staying on with us. I have with me Woon of AMO, the Association of Malaysian Optometrists. Moving forward, we've seen how the budget was presented for the country. We're looking at a lot more focus towards healthcare, towards education, and the budget did take a lot of, I guess, question mark away from us. When Datuk Seri Anwar presented last week or 2 weeks ago, he was talking about the need for us to look at continual healthcare as being a key factor for Malaysians. Do you feel that when we look at the budget for healthcare in Malaysia, more needs to be done, or do you feel that this is as much as they can do? But for now, we need to think about how the private sector needs to supplement the requirements of the public sector. That has always been the case, I guess, in terms of the debate for healthcare. Where do you think the role of private health practitioners come into play for the betterment of the healthcare services for the country?
Yeah, I think for the private practice optometrists, we, as much as we are private practice, we also have a heart of CSR as well. So one of the things that we tried to engage the government last time was with the PECA B40, right? We were hoping that they would open up this up for eye care as well. So for a minimum fee, it wasn't. So for a minimum fee, the B40 group would be able to have access to all the private optometrists for eye care. And the other thing that we can do is, we're trying to engage the education ministry. If we can screen all the kids, school-going kids, and those who are in the B40 who can't afford glasses and so on and so forth, then perhaps our association can work together with industrial sponsors and so on to be able to,
Is that currently in the works, or it's still being theoreticized right now?
We actually had, in the past years, unfortunately, we have engaged with the deputy education minister then, and he agreed to a private project. But as you know, the government has changed so many times since then. So every project we're trying to get, the government changes.
Okay,
so
what about this government and this education minister?
So we are trying to do that now.
Okay,
yeah.
And do you feel optimistic, or do you feel a little bit more exasperated in getting this taken off the ground?
We are always optimistic.
Yeah.
I mean, worst case scenario is if we fail, we got to try.
Yeah.
So, but that would mean a lot for the B40 student. Can you imagine B40 students, getting good vision for now, improving in their education, and therefore uplifting the whole society, their family, and so on.
Absolutely, because the idea here is upward mobility. You need to get them to be able to literally see things so that they can better themselves. Be it vocational training or higher education, or trying to get themselves better jobs. Literally. Oh wow. Okay. And finally, what is your view in terms of the industry moving forward?
The industry has a lot of potential. We need to get certain things done, but it has a lot of potential.
Okay.
And Malaysia has always been looked up to by the region as well, as one of the better models. But then again, I feel that we can do so much more. If we can get certain recognition, for example, so for now, for you, it's so difficult to differentiate which optical centers has optometry services and so on. Now, if we can get the authorities to make a pathway for us to easily, from the signboard, hey, I know this is where I can get my eye health check and so on.
Giving standards.
Yeah, correct.
Mandatory standards.
Correct. So for that, if we can get this done, the members of the public will benefit, the government benefits, and we will roll this out to the region as well. Because the region
also private institutions, because now they would need to get optometrists in their establishments.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, that's a way of doing things. All right, that was our conversation with Woon Pak Seong, the advisor of the Association of Malaysian Optometrists. Do stay on with us. There's plenty of conversations like this that can be found on astroawani.com. But for now, my name is Ibrahim Sani. Catch you in the next one.